I assume everyone here is from Trussville, right? Yeah, been here a long time, maybe longer than me. I don't know. I only moved here in 2013. So I'm the president of the Cahaba Homestead Heritage Foundation. It's a mouthful. Y'all know the Cahaba project. You probably know the village by that name. So it's listed on the National Register as Cahaba Homestead Village. That is why we're the Cahaba Homestead Heritage Foundation. And we organized in order to educate the public about the value, the nationally historically significant historic district that we have here in Trussville, to educate about it, to promote its history, and to perpetuate it. So if you've, I want to say something about leadership, because on the web page, when I looked at Leadership Trussville, I like what it says about what leadership is. And I'll paraphrase, because you're basically, a leader doesn't make followers. What we are doing as an organization that started out of just some devoted members of the community can y'all hear me? Getting together to educate and promote about this, because I don't think you can value something unless you know what you got. And we have something that is one of a kind here in Trussville, with this village that was built during the Great Depression. So it's the largest and most historically intact village created by the federal government during the Great Depression. In Alabama, for sure, the largest and most historically intact, but possibly regionally. And what we're doing as an organization is not to lead and have people follow us. It's to, by taking a leading example of stewardship of what we have here, so the people who live here, not even just in the immediate area, but just citizens of Trussville, and every level of leadership in the city of Trussville can take ownership and stewardship of this historic area that we have. And I hope we're doing that. It's worth doing that for what we have. This little brochure is one of the first kind of tangible things that the organization made, and you'll find these at the library, civic center, city hall. If you have a business and you want to have them at your business, please let us know. There's an email contact on the back, and it's just a great overview. And those of you who live here, you might flip through this and read something about this historic neighborhood that you did not know. So I encourage you to look through it. Have you driven past anywhere on Chalkville or over here and seen construction on the corners? Y'all know what that's about? So that's the Stone Gateway project. Y'all know the gazebo entrance. I think everyone knows that one. So what we've done, but if you drive through that one and you don't get out of your car and read the historic marker, you're not going to know that this was built during 1936 to 1938. You're not going to know that it was built during the Great Depression to relieve people to bring the nation out of recovery from the Great Depression, right? How many of you get out and stop and read it? It's not convenient. What we're doing at these sort of boundaries or entrances to the historic area is we're calling them gateways. Trussville's a gateway to happy living, right? These gateways are kind of identifying the entrances to the historic area. They're designed after the original, the sandstone original gazebo and wall that was built in 1936. So we very carefully taken design elements from that to build these. And on the signs, now it will be nice and clear when you're driving by, you will see Cahaba Homestead Village. We can still refer to it as the Cahaba Project. I don't want people to get up in arms about that. Above that, it'll say National Register of Historic Places. So people know that we are listed, that is that significant. And then established 1936 to 1938. So we have those years to assign to it. There will also be a bronze plaque at the gateway at this corner location of Parkway and Poplar that probably receives the most walking traffic. And the signs, the gateways are dedicated to the Americans who built these homes, the village, the entire historic built environment during the Great Depression, and honoring their legacy of labor and service. The gateways were scheduled to be completed by the end of the year. There will be an American flag behind each one, illuminated at night. The flags are coming from our state representative. They are flags that will have flown over the U.S. Capitol. They'll be illuminated at night, and there will be brick pavers. Some of you sitting here did get a brick paver. I know some of you did, and those who didn't, will have a chance, if you want to, for your family or business, or to honor someone, you can do that in another round of fundraising. The bricks are a pathway from the sidewalk to the gateways. Any other questions about those? They're going up quick. As a nonprofit, we faced a major fundraising feat to reach almost $100,000 for the gateways. We reached out to all local companies and sources because we wanted to keep the bacon here, you know, and keep it community-based. And I'm pleased to say that everything that's going into it has been local as possible. Fundraising as a nonprofit. Any of you here with nonprofits? So we thought we would mostly get there through the brick donations, right? Everyone paying, or different people choosing $100 per brick donation, and then some businesses or families donating at a higher price point as the cornerstone contributors. What really got us over the mark, though, were some Jefferson County grants. You got to have a grant writer, or you got to know what you're doing and know someone who does. We had, I'm so thrilled to say this, we had support for these gateways that are identifying this historic district from state, county, city level, and from individuals, families, and businesses. So at every level we had support for these. And most of the fundraising was done just in the last 5 months. Sometimes it takes time to get that, to build that momentum and grow that awareness. And we're still learning that for sure, because most of you here are like, yeah, I don't know what that's about, you know, and you can do your press releases and you can get words out on social media, but it's still, people are busy. How do you get their attention? Well, the gateways will get their attention. Any other questions about that or about this? Again, if you want to reach out to us or you have questions, our website is a great resource for everything Cahaba project. There's some neat, if you just have any curiosity about what the area looked like, some of it looks very much like it did structurally 86 years ago. But they're vintage pictures of the homes. That's a great resource for people that are doing, you know, researching the area, or if they're remodeling their home and they want to take a look at what it looked like then at the tax assessor 1940s photos. There's some great vintage photos there. A lot of information available on the website, and I promise you it's not really dry info either. It's really interesting stuff. The neighborhood existed before Trussville was officially a town. It was because of the success of this neighborhood that Trussville incorporated as a town 10 years later, and a lot of people, I think, don't realize that. Cahaba was sort of its own thing, and Trussville was its own thing, and they merged, and we're grateful they did. It was a very successful start to where we are today.
So does your group, are you responsible for putting the Keep It Quaint?
Not the group, but as just a homeowner, I actually made those before the nonprofit educational group founded. I was seeing a lot of changes on Brentwood where I lived, and then I started to learn more about the neighborhood. And then for me, it wasn't just a desire to see some aesthetic cohesion. It was like, oh my gosh, do we know that we have something that is one of a kind in the nation? And that led to talking to other neighbors and then deciding people need to know what we have. And that really was the sort of the start of, and it wasn't just me, it was sort of at the same time other neighbors getting their heads together. And we have resources, historians in the neighborhood that already knew a lot about this, and I can only speak for myself. I was just learning it in 2013 and realized just how significant this neighborhood is in terms of history to Trussville, history to Alabama, and in our U.S. history too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is where we grew up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Appreciate that, and I think that's spot on. It's probably because I wasn't from here that I came in with some fresh eyes and new discoveries and thought, yeah, this is worth everyone knowing about, everyone who lives in Trussville. You know, the kids that go to the elementary school, we've reached out to the 4th graders learning Alabama history. We made a fun quiz for them. I read it to my husband and he was like, you've got to make this funnier or better or something. So we started sticking like, options A, B, C, D. LeBron James was in there, and like not just the furnace that was there, dungeon, just giving all allusions to Minecraft, you name it. We made it entertaining for them, and I think they took a lot away from it. But those kids are going to school in the building that opened as a high school in 1938. Some of their grandparents went to school there. We live in a neighborhood where we know by name the first baby that was born here. He'll have a brick. George Glenn. How many places can you say have that history? It's still kind of a living history because we're approaching 100 years. We're not that old to have forgotten that history, but all it takes is one generation to kind of forget it, not pass it on. And these gateways are a tangible way to keep that history and our legacy going. So, any other questions? Thank y'all for having me today.
Thank you.